Hi, I'm Ken Dubner,
And I'm Christina Dam.
and these are the minutes of your mind.
Do 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 do.
Now here's the minute for today's mind, because speaking of minutes, it's all about time today. We're going to talk about time and how you code time in your mind. How do you know what was yesterday, what was the day before yesterday, or what you're thinking about is tomorrow? What do you do in your mind to let yourself know that that's what you're thinking?
People probably think we're crazy right now.
Well, that didn't help.
But no, really. If you think about, try this on. Everybody in here, everybody that's watching, or most of you, have a pretty solid routine that starts your morning out. Whether you wake up, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you have coffee, you jump in the shower, there's some sort of order of how you start your day, how small or long that may be.
Let's go with brushing the teeth, because I have high hopes for the hygiene of our general audience.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the order.
Oh, okay.
You know, because if like for instance, what did you do this morning?
I woke up, I made coffee, I drank coffee, I brushed my teeth.
Okay, so you brush your teeth after you drink the coffee?
Oh, indubitably.
Could you imagine that you brushed your teeth before you drink coffee?
No, that would make no sense.
But could you imagine that you did it?
Yes.
Okay. And you see that it forms a same kind of image in your mind the same way.
Yep.
So there's something that you do specifically that tells you that that really happened or that didn't happen.
I didn't even think of that. Yep. What happened for me was, there's like a sequence of events in my mind, and they go like this. When I think about brushing my teeth, it's coffee, then brush my teeth. And I had to actually move it like that in the way that I viewed it. And because it was something I made up, it kind of moved the whole thing to a different part of where I was visualizing it.
See? So for him, he knew it was made up because this kind of movement happened in his mind and it wasn't the same order. For different people out there, you probably know whether something's reality or fantasy based on maybe there's a feeling that you get or something that you hear in your mind or something that you see, kind of like what Ken was describing. And he's very visual. That's his preferred representational system, so he's jumping to that to understand whether it happened in reality or not.
So Christina, let me ask you, what do you do in the morning when you get up? It's not that kind of show.
No, what do I do in the morning when I wake up? The first thing I do, I go to the bathroom and then I take the dogs to the bathroom.
Okay.
And then coffee. Sometimes I start the coffee, actually normally I start the coffee before I take them for a walk so it's ready when I come back.
And getting down to the oral hygiene part of it, at what point do you brush your teeth?
After that.
Okay. When you imagine yourself this morning doing that, imagine that now. Can you imagine waking up, brushing your teeth first?
Yeah.
Okay. What changes for you?
Like more of a feeling inside.
Now, for those of you who have watched some of the other videos and understand about eye axis and cues and all the things we talked about with submodalities, you'll see that her eyes actually did the eye axis and cues. It said she went from visualizing it to actually having a feeling. Whereas if you were watching me when I did it, I was just looking up. I was visualizing the whole thing, and then I just kind of got it. Didn't have to do that part of it. So we are all different people. What's the feeling? Can you describe it real quick? Just give it a little thumbnail.
Well, it was just like this, like gut punch type. And it told me that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Now imagine this, or don't even imagine this. How do you know, think about this, you got up this morning and did that routine, but you've also done it before that, and maybe a month ago you got up and did a similar routine. So think about a month ago brushing your teeth.
Okay. I don't know that I got a specific brushing my teeth a month ago, but okay. Yeah. Okay,
What's different
good.
about that? Where is that? How is that coded different? That you know it's not today, it's not this morning, it's not 4 hours ago, but it's 4 weeks ago.
It's further back to the left.
Further back to the left. Okay, great. Now, Christina has what's called the classic timeline because she goes from there to here. I actually have what's called the reverse timeline because I actually go from here to here, this being where my past is and this being where my future is. There's a different kind of
See, I
time.
knew he was all messed up.
Yes. There's a different kind of timeline where the timeline comes from the past and goes to the future. And that causes you to really understand things in a different way. I actually had to learn how to do this. My natural timeline does that.
Well, mine's left to the back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of goes like
It's
that.
because she's so liberal. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I took mine in a class, actually learned to do that, to turn it so that I could have an advantage. There's advantages to both. Each one has its own advantages and disadvantages. And they're called in time and through time. You want to give a quick explanation of what that is?
Yes, I can. But let's explain first. Let's backtrack just a little bit because we need to teach them what the timeline is and how to construct it for themselves.
That's
And
true.
then we can go through in time and through time. So, if you want to take a moment, you can close your eyes or you can do it with it open and just think about a future event. Something that has not happened yet, something that you hope to happen in the future, you know that it's going to happen. Maybe you're planning a vacation or there's a weekend trip or weekend event that you're going to do. And just visualize that. And notice that that event is in some location to your body. Some people will be off to the right, some people will be forward, some people will be off to the left, some people will be behind them, but that event will appear in some relationship to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now after you have that, think of popcorn, smell it, just breaking your state. Now I want you to...
I want popcorn.
No. Okay, so now think about an event that happened maybe a week ago. And you can have your eyes closed or whatever it is that you're doing and think of that event and get into specific details of it so you're really in that event. And then find out in what location to your body it is. Is it to your left? Is it forward? Is it behind you? Is it to your right? It's going to be some location, okay? And if you're finding a hard time figuring that out, just use your intuition of, well, where do you sense that it is?
That's a good point. A lot of times people will say, I don't know. And the classic question that we ask with people that say, I don't know is, that's great. But if you did know, where might it be? So if you don't know, if you did know, where might it be? Because it's not about the cut and dry, this is exactly where it is. It does change a little bit depending on circumstance. And we're dealing with unconscious processes. We're making them conscious. So it's not going to be quite as logical as some things that you might be used to thinking about. So if you did know, where would the past be? Where would the future be?
Mm-hmm. And some of you, it's just that intuition, it's that sense, and some of you actually visually can see it's over here and it's over there. And so after you do that, what you want to do is find the present, okay? In your present state, notice if it's actually in your body or outside of your body. When you visualize you being in the present and in the moment with your eyes closed. And then you want to do what you did in kindergarten as you connect the dots. So you create an imaginary dot, do. And I'm just doing mine because my future is up there. That's where I see and visualize my future events, kind of up to the right. My present, and then my past. So my timeline goes in my body.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. My timeline used to go like that. It used to be behind me was the past. This was the present, right around here. And then the future was behind it. But through practice, I've learned that for me, sometimes it's better to take that whole timeline and turn it like that. So that my past is over here, my future's over here, and my present is right in front of me. And there's finer distinctions that we can talk about in later videos of how to use your timeline and why different methods work good for different people to do different things. But in the thumbnail, people who have a timeline going behind them and going out straight in front of them, we tend to be somewhat late to appointments at times because we're looking at what's happening right here and we're not really concerned about what's next. It's kind of in the way. You've ever heard putting the past behind you? We do that, and because of that sometimes we don't learn from experience. But what we are good at is being in the moment, really being in the moment.
Yes. So if you, when you connected the dots, if your timeline is not inside your body,
Mm-hmm.
it's in front of you or it's behind you, connecting the dots, but it doesn't go through your present body,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Then you have this ability that you're looking at time from the outside perspective. And those type of people tend to be very, very punctual for appointments. They tend to be there, they're there. If somebody's late, it irritates them. It's all about scheduling for them because they're looking, if you imagine it, it's like looking at your life like a calendar, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you're analyzing, you're planning, you're organizing, you're looking at that date book. And you're making sure everything penciled in, but you're not inside of it. So it's almost as if, and I don't mean that those type of people don't live in the moment, but it's almost as if the moments are outside of them.
Mm-hmm.
And people that have the timeline that go actually inside of them, inside their body, in time, what happens is that they are in the present moment. More often, that time kind of happens when they happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll get there when they get there, they'll show up when they get there, and they're not as pressed to be somewhere. Appointment times are 15 minutes-ish, you know? They say they're gonna be there at 9, they come at 9:30, you know.
Somebody's referencing this morning. Now here's the thing. Having taken my timeline and learned how to move it this way, I've gone from being somebody who 9 meant 12 to 9 might mean 9:30 because I haven't perfected it yet. And by the way, it's not about perfection. It's about getting what works for you. There's a lot of fine distinctions that we work with people in when we do therapy with them, if we're working with somebody in a trance state. There's a lot of different things you can do to play with this, to make it more distinctive, to make it perfect for that person. One little thing that we have noticed with people is this. Some people have the past in front of them and the future behind them. And that is not a good recipe for success because you tend to just see what happened. You miss the past. When you think about what depression is for some people, well, all I can see is the past mistakes I made and no future at all for myself. So these timelines can be really powerful. That's your mind minutes for today, right here. And we'll be seeing you
Tomorrow.
or next week. Or
Ow.
a year from now. That's your mind minute.
All right.